Everyone to the 18th live stream in the space shooter DevVenture. So we left off last time where we were trying to create a resource for the target node, right? So we wanted to make it so that I could specify which type of target it is just by assigning a resource as a configuration, right? So in the file system, if I go to resources, you can see here that I've got a target generic and a target waypoint, right? So for a waypoint specifically, I could assign the waypoint one, and that will give me the, the so-called torus. Well, it's not a so-called torus, it's an actual torus. It'll give me the torus mesh and a cylinder collider for the, for the I'm just thinking about something. What if I assign mesh instance 3D and collision shape 3D to the resource itself directly, right? So I can go here to the waypoint, or rather to the target, and the target will take in these two things, right? So I could go, for example, mesh instance 3D goes in there, but it won't. And collision instance 3D will go in there. But I can say mesh instance 3D. No, I can't. Target is of type static body. Why is it of type static body? Can it not just be an area 3D node? Does it need to be a static body? It doesn't make sense, actually. So let me go back to the script and say extends area 3D instead. No, area 3D. Save that. Change this type to be of area 3D instead. Then we do away with that. And then this one, we go to the node and we say on area entered. Just undo that and check here on area entered. Was it in the bulk behavior class? Exploded is not defined or whatever. On body entered. I see. So that means that the body being collided with doesn't need this at all. So if I go to the 3D scene, I can say mesh instance. So if you see here now, right, you can see that the cube is gone. And I can actually take away the box collider too. And now I can go to firing range and you'll see that there's nothing, right? But when I run the scene, it complains. What is it complaining about? Never mind. We'll have to get that again. Here. Script inherits from native type area 3D. So it can't be assigned to an object of type static body 3D, but it isn't. This is a static, an area 3D. Oh, but hang on. Health bar is health, and health bar 3D, sub bar, sub viewport health bar. Okay, that's fine. Why are you complaining? You aren't attached to file system. Stop. Scripts. Behaviors. Behavior target. Assign. And save. Okay, firing range 3D. Run the scene. Same complaint. The script inherits from an area 3D, so it cannot be assigned to an object of type static body. But this is not of type static body. Oh, wait. That's why. Because the mining target is... Okay. Now we're getting somewhere. Components, mining target. Also, it should also have a resource. Change type, area 3D. And it should also have a resource for configuration. So let's go to resources and create a new target resource, target config, and we'll call this target underscore mining, and we'll save it like that. Oh, we'll rename it to be lowercase target mining, like this. Stop this. Open that. Give it a box mesh. And then collision shape, give it a box shape 3D. Set the color. Where's this? Box material. Here we go. Is a new standard material. Change the albedo to be cyan. Maybe not cyan. 0, 170, and 255, and then give it an emission shader of the same color, right? So 0, 170, 255, and save that, and then set this instead of an actual mesh, we'll just give it a placeholder mesh, right? And then for the collider, give it a placeholder mesh. Does it have one? No. Okay, but we can go here and we can see that there it is set as a placeholder, which is good. And then for the collider, we can just not give it a shape. And then in test flight, you'll see, or should I rather say, in firing range, you'll see it's not there. But when we run the scene, it's still not there. I think it's because I didn't give it a mining target. If I go back towards components, mining target, it has no resource. Okay, good. So we'll give it the mining resource and save this. And then for the actual target, so is this target generic target here? It doesn't have a config. So resources target generic there, like that. And then we'll save, go to firing range, run the scene, and we've got another problem. Invalid assignment property of key mesh with value of type box mesh on an object of type null instance. Node not found. Mining object 1. Okay. This one. So that means we should rather not give it any mesh. Let's try again. If I go to firing range and I run the scene, still giving me problems. Box mesh. Zero, 170, 255. Emission on set to 0, 170, 255. Save that. Check it out there. Good. And there. We'll do the same thing here. Just give it a box mesh. We can set the surface material to be of red. Albedo is full red, so just red. And then the emission is the same thing, also just full red. So here, 255, done. Save it, give it a custom collision shape, just a standard box. Same thing here, give it a custom collision shape, just a standard box. And then go back to firing range. Give it a test. We've still got a problem. Mesh instance 3D here. And here. I see the problem. Okay. Because we're dealing with multiple what script is this anyway? Anyway, right. So here's the thing. Because we are dealing with two kinds of targets at this time, we are trying to reference a node in the scene for the normal target, but it's not the same thing here. It's not named the same thing, right? And that's a problem. So let's fix that. We're going to need to create an onReady variable here, which will be called mesh and collider. So we'll say at onReady variable mesh is the collider. Well, not the collider, this thing. So we'll rename this to be target mesh. And target collider, right? So get target collider, target mesh on ready target mesh. And then here we'll just say target mesh.mesh. And then here we'll make another one at onReady variable target collider is target collider. We'll save that, and then we'll just rename the mesh and the collider for this one to be the same. So we'll call this target underscore mesh, and we'll name this one target collider, right? So target collider, 2 L's, save. Now I should be able to say I don't want a mesh, I don't want a collider at by default. I just want you to have placeholders, and I will establish them at runtime, right? So firing range, I go here, I set it up, and I rerun the scene. And there's still a problem because I probably made a mistake. Yes, of course I did. Collision shape 3D should be target collider. So that's my mistake. We'll save that, stop it there, and run it again. There we go. And let's just do a test. If I fire my weapon at the target, it should have okay. So I go here, I check under node if it's on the groups, target, save it. This should be of group target, and this should be of group mining object, which it is. So if I go to bulb behavior, if the body is in group target, and it has a method take damage, then call the take damage method, right? So annoying. So that's bulk behavior. We want to have target behavior. If config, set the mesh and the shape of the collider to be the config shapes and colliders 31, 31, 31. Let's go to target config and create a new export variable at export variable group in is of type string. Okay, so let's do that. Nope. And then line it all up. Something like this. Okay, and then this one is, well, it's exported, so let's not worry about a default value. Well, actually we do. The default value should be target, right? So it's of group target. Just check the node groups. Yes, target. And if we go to target behavior or behavior target here on ready, we should say group. Add to group. Config dot grouping. Right? So now if we go to the file system under resources, I can change the grouping to be of target for generic, to be of mining or mining, and for a waypoint, it's not of a type specifically, but for the waypoint we do want it to be of type target because we want to test the enemy ship's ability to shoot at a target and damage it, right? That's the whole experiment. So remember the reason we're doing this whole detour on creating resources around the target is because we want to go to the testing seek behavior and have the pirate ship approach a waypoint and then have some logic in the controller to determine if I'm close enough to a waypoint, which happens to be a target, then fire at it and cause it to damage, right? And once you fire at it and cause the damage, For now, do nothing else. Just keep shooting at it until you collide with it and change direction. But eventually, we wanted to have some kind of swoop and shoot maneuver, right? So it comes in, shoots, and swoops away, and then redirects and comes back and shoots again and swoops away, and does this repeatedly until that target is defeated or destroyed, right? Because again, defeated because even a player is a target to an NPC, right? So that's the idea, that we want to go in that direction, but we obviously need to work towards it. All right. So if I go back to the firing range and I run the scene, everything seems fine. If I fire a projectile, nothing is happening, and this is worrying. So let's check with DeepSeek what's going on. Yeah, I remember now I said I would share the scene hierarchy with DeepSeek. So let me do that. I wish there was a way that I could copy the scene tree and just, paste it somewhere. Unfortunately, that's not how it works. So let me do this. We've got something like that. Okay. Like that. All right. Here is the target dot tscn scene tree. So we've got target, and then we've got target underscore mesh, then we've got target collider, then we've got health, and we've got health bar 3D. And then I'll just say here as a comment, this is an area 3D node, and this is a mesh instance 3D node. And this is a collider, collision shape 3D. And this is a node, and this is a node 3D. I have recently changed the root node from static body 3D to area 3D, and now the bolts are not dealing damage to the target anymore. Do you have any ideas about how to fix this new bug? Yeah, this is what I want to do. I want to keep the damage detection. So in your Plasma Bolt script, assuming it has an area 3D, make sure you are checking for body entered signals correctly in the Plasma Bolt script. Okay, so let's open up the Godot engine again, go back to the Plasma Bolt, and then here we want to check this. So go back here, area entered, dot connect to on area entered. So in the ready function, so let's do that. We will have a function for ready, and then here we can say area entered dot connect to on plasma body entered, and then body entered dot connect on body entered. What is underscore on body entered? Then we'll need to create a function for on body entered. For now, function on body entered takes in a body, and we'll say pass. On area entered, if it's in group target and it has the take damage function, then Q3. Then we'll do the same thing here. Enter the plasma bolt body. Actually, no. The timer calls the timeout and destroys the plasma bolt. So it would be on ready variable timer is timer, and then here we can say timer dot timeout dot connect destroy. And then we can detach this from the node. Here, signals, disconnect that, save the scene, and then for this one here, we can disconnect that and save this as well. I'm trying to make the connections in the script so that I don't have to keep checking that these things are connected here. Okay. So I don't want to connect this static body 3D as a chart. So this should hopefully work. Let's see. Print entered body, but it's not even printing entered body. That is cause for concern to me. Go to the firing range, start the game, and let's see what happens. Right? Aha! We've got an issue. Signal cannot convert one argument from null to callable. Oh, right. Run this. Aha, we got it, we got it, we got it. Good. Amazing. So it's entering the body and it's dealing the damage. Okay, now I want to check this. Does it say it's entering the body? Yes, but it's still damaging this mining target. Mining target. The mesh. And the collision shape. And here we go. It's a mining target. So if I go back to the resource here, it should be a mining object type, and it is. Right? So if I go here, I can say do away with this and add a new one, and there it is. Okay? So now if I go to the firing range and I test that, I should see it enters. Is it dying before it reaches? What's going on? There's something weird going on here. And there's also something weird going on here. The strafing is wrong. So that a direct hit causes problems. Let's see, if I stand right in front and shoot it, nothing happens. But if I go to the side and shoot it like this, then something happens. This is so odd. Why does it do that? That's so bizarre. Anyway, let's try and see if this registers as a collision but doesn't cause damage, which is what it should say. Entering, entering, but not doing damage. Brilliant. Now we're getting somewhere. I'm just thinking about something here. The way this is set up at the moment, the bullet is only being destroyed. The plasma bolt is only being destroyed when it hits something that can take damage, right? Because obviously, as you see here, only if the body that it's collided with, right, the body that it's entered, is of the group target, and if that body has a method take damage, only then do we call the destroy function. Is that what we want? Do we want the bolt to just fly through everything until it hits something that takes damage or times out? No. We actually want to destroy the bolt no matter what, and only deal damage to the things that need to deal damage, right? So I don't want to see the bolt flying through anything. It should hit the thing and stop. It should be destroyed. Unless it's got some kind of armor piercing ability, which we can add in later, right? So now, for now, let's just go back to firing range, give it a test, make sure it's working. Yes. Into the target body. And it's dealt the damage. Good. That one worked. And what is going on? Okay, this is annoying me now. I want to go back to the behavior for the player. Enemy ship controller, enemy ship thingy, player controller. Here we go, player controller. And now I want to change strafing. If I go towards physics process and I choose strafe left and right, I need to switch these velocities around. Alright, and so now I should see that strafe left is left and strafe right is right. Exactly as expected. I need to add those controls in here as well, right? So rise and fall and strafe left and right, I need to add those in. So let's do that. Let's do that. What am I doing? I'm opening up a scene for the menus. So if I go scenes, UI, pause menu. Here we go. If I go into oh, I see. It's probably here in the script. Yeah, here it is. And so let's create it. Same thing. We'll say here strafe. Oh no, that's the orbit camera. So it needs to go here. We'll put this here and say strafe. And then is Z and C. and then one more, let's say vertical motion Q and E. Okay, let's test it. Pause the game. Not working. Game controls, movement, aim, shoot, and pause. Why is this not working? Ship controls, movement, aim, shoot, and pause. Oh. So what is this control scheme called? Default. So here's where I need to add it in. Right. So let's do that. We'll say cell and close the cell. And then we'll right justify this and say strafe. And then close the right justify. And then we create another cell here. And close it. And then create a left justify. And close it. And then here we'll just say Z and C. And then we'll do the same thing here for this. We'll say vertical movement. Oh, I see. Okay, so actually needs to go quite a lot further out, like that. Then we'll save it, and instead of Z and C, we'll change it to Q and E. Okay, so let's go to the firing range. We'll run the game. We'll pause it, and there it is. Vertical movement, strafe, pause, shoot, aim, and movement. I should probably move vertical movement to be below movement, right? So strafe and vertical movement need to be up here with movement. So let's do that. Yeah. So take these out like this and paste them just below here like this. And now everything should be as expected. Movement, strafe, vertical movement, aim, shoot, and pause. Good. So we can close this now. That's no longer bugging me. Then I can go to testing seek behavior and run this, see if this works. Okay, so as you can see, the mesh is working. but you can see now that the rotations are off. Is it only going towards 1 and 9? No, it just happened to do that. Okay. Good. So I remember if I go back to the waypoint, components, waypoint here. I tried to rotate this mesh. So the mesh instance here has no rotations on its transform. There's no rotation there. There's a rotation here though. That's a problem. So what if I did that here as well? So I go to the transform and I change this rotation to be 90. And I save it and I go to testing seek behavior and I run the scene now. The meshes are aligned, but the health bars are messed up. So what if I did this instead? I revert that rotation and I go here and I revert this thing's rotation too, like that. So now the meshes are aligned, and if I go to testing seek behavior now, I've noticed that some of these have a rotation when they shouldn't have any. So let's undo all these rotations. We should go through them all and remove any rotations that they happen to have. And then run the scene. And now it should look the same across them all. Right. So here's what I think. Actually, I'll go here. I'll change the rotation back to be 90. And then for the target, I just have to change the resource. So I go to resources, target waypoint, and change the meshes rotation here to be 90. How do I do that? Inner radius, outer radius, rings, material, flip faces, the resource itself, and the collision shape. No. Isn't there a set rotation? Okay, let's go to target config and create a new export variable here. And export variable. I see that our hour is almost up, so I think this will be the last thing I do for the live stream, and then we'll conclude. Okay, so export variable rotation is of type vector3d. Vector3, and then we'll save this. Go to behavior target. In the onReady function, we'll just say here here target mesh dot set rotation dot rotate x, or actually just rotate according to the vector3, right? So it would be config dot rotation, and we'll say the same thing here, target mesh target collider dot rotate according to config dot rotation. And now if we go to testing seek behavior, but first we'll go obviously to the waypoint and ensure it has the right resource. Testing seek behavior, start the map, bam, we have a big fat problem. Okay, what is it? Invalid function rotate mesh instance 3D expected 2 arguments. Okay, so what are those arguments? Rotate dot rotate target mesh dot rotate. Why is this not working? Oh, I get it. It's because I never established vectors for the resources. So this one has a rotation of 0. This one has a rotation of 0. And this one has a rotation of 90. Expected 2 arguments. Oh. No. What? Target mesh is of type target mesh, which is of type, where's the target? target mesh of type mesh instance 3D has transform dot rotate. Target mesh dot transform dot rotate. Target mesh dot transform dot rotate. Config dot rotation. Okay, well, I've gone over the time, so I'm going to conclude things here. Thank you to Cubes for your continued support, and thank you all for your time and your attention, and I'll see you in the next DevVenture.